Okay, nista' nibda? Alright, so let's hit run, okay? Check. What's currently working? Okay, over here I have so over here we have the player, and over here we have this joystick. Obviously I'm going to tell you how you can add this joystick, and when I move, alright, this joystick, my character is also moving. So my idea is that eventually we're going to add 2 players in this map, and these 2 players obviously can play with together, okay? It can either be competitive, they are playing against each other, or they are working together, okay, co-op. Alright, so let's analyze the code. Over here we have the player. The player, as you can see, it has 2 colliders. It has this square collider over here and circle collider here to make sure that this player is properly attached with colliders. We have a script here called player movement, and it has an animator. Okay, so if we take a look at the animator, we have these controllers here. First idle, then go to run, crouch, and jump. Alright, this is very similar to what we normally do. And obviously, the arrows have conditions attached to them. For example, to go from idle to run, the speed parameter must be greater than 0.01, and to go from run to idle, vice versa. Okay, the speed must be less than 0.01. Same thing for crouch. Okay, so from idle to crouch we have this parameter called this crouching, and to go from idle to crouch this has to be set to true, and vice versa. Okay, from crouch to idle, crouch must be false, and this speed must be less than 0.01. And to go to jump, and we have this any state, so you can jump from run and even crouch. That's why we have any state over here. And to go from any state to player jump, this jumping must be set to true. So if you're idle, you can go directly to jump. Okay? Why? Because this is any state, so it can be this state, or this state. It doesn't matter. The player can jump anytime he wants. And to go back from jump to idle, we have this parameter over here with 2 conditions. We have this arrow over here with 2 conditions, is jumping false and speed less than 0.01. So this was already provided to us, so we don't really need to modify this. Okay, it's working fine. Then inside the player, we have the character controller 2D, which was also given by Breckies, okay, which I'm not going to modify. Basically, it takes care how the character is basically moving into our scene, and whether or not our character can collide with objects, etc. Obviously, we have the rigid body 2D. The colliders that I mentioned before, and then we have this script, okay, player movement. And by default, if you download this project from GitHub, alright, and you don't download the one that I've uploaded on Teams, this is going to look a bit different, okay? So basically, the player movement takes care. Let me open the script. Basically, it takes care of the inputs that are currently being pressed by the user. So by default, the game can be played using the keyboard, but I added a feature so that this game can be played also on an Android phone, okay? So I've added a joystick. So if we take a look at this code, so this code was given by Brackeys. Basically, this method is being called from the update method. Alright, and basically it's very simple. Horizontal move is equal to input.get access through horizontal times run speed. So basically the horizontal move basically it's a float variable that contains whether or not the player is moving, alright, or pressing the arrow keys. If input get button jump, so if you are jumping, then set this variable to true. If you are crouching, then set this crouch variable to true. If you are not crouching, set this back to false, okay? And as I said, this method, the Unity editor movement, is called inside the update. And I've added this code if test for mobile is equal to true. So basically, test for mobile is a public variable, boolean. So this means that I can access this variable from the inspector, and if you, by default, it is set to false. But if you tick test for mobile, we have this if statement over here. If test for mobile is equal to true, then call this method. I will explain what this method is: mobile movement else Unity editor movement. So let me show you what happens if test for mobile is set to false. So if I go on the player, right over here I have test for mobile. At the moment it is ticked. I'm going to untick this. I'm going to run the game. Obviously at this moment, at this point the joystick is not working, but I can move the character using the arrow keys on my keyboard, okay, and I can press space to jump, etc. I can press C to crouch, alright? But in our case, we're going to test this for mobile, so I'm going to tick this again. Oh. By default that tickjat, I just their movement.
Oh, okay.
By default it's tickjat, by default it's tafas run. Il-joystick ħajja.
Alright, thank you, that's good enough. Thank you.
Alright. Alright. Mela, kif tistgħu tdaħlu joystick ġol-logħba tagħkom? Alright, so somehow you need to add the joystick, and this is very easy, okay? That's why I'm going to just explain this code, because it's very easy. And we don't really need to work this together. So, first of all, inside the project you're going to find this folder called Virtual Joystick Pack, okay? And basically this is an asset on the Unity Asset Store, which you can download for free. And over here we have the documentation how to use this virtual joystick. So if you open the PDF, you should have this documentation explaining how you can use a joystick. So basically, to add a joystick is very easy. And basically the pack comes with 3 prefabs, 3 types of joysticks, okay? And all you need to do is just place on the canvas, okay? So all you need to do is just drag and drop one of these prefabs on the canvas. In fact, if you open the canvas inside Unity, you should see this fixed joystick over here. So basically I just went inside the prefabs folder, so I just drag and drop this one over here, fixed joystick, so here, inside the canvas. Okay? And this should appear. So basically this is the canvas, and we have the joystick here, okay? So all you need to do is just drag and drop the joystick inside the canvas. Now, the joystick works like this, okay? So the joysticks have three usable output: joystick.horizontal and joystick.vertical. Are each axis separately. Both return a value between -1 and 1. So let's say this is my joystick over here. At the moment my mouse is here, so this joystick by default is going to return 0, 0. But if I move my joystick to here, so if I drag and drop and move my joystick to here, so somewhere here, the joystick should return 1, okay, in the horizontal axis. If I move my mouse to the other side, somewhere here, the joystick.horizontal should return -1. In between, somewhere here, it should return approximately -0.5, okay? So basically, this will give you a range from -1 to 1, okay? It's a float variable, and it will return according to where the joystick is, okay? A value to where the joystick is. So for example, if I run my game, you can instantly see the difference, okay? So if I barely move the joystick, as you can see, the speed of the player is adjusted according to the movement of the joystick. Obviously, later on I will tell you how you can get this variable and attach it to the player, okay? And the same thing for the vertical axis, okay? Joystick.vertical, same thing, 1 here, -1 here, alright? So same thing, over here 0. If I move and drag and drop the joystick to here, it's 1, but if I move to the opposite side, and this joystick should return -1, okay? Now obviously we need to make use of these values to control our player. So this was very easy to do. First of all, I've imported the joystick inside my script, inside player movement, okay? So just drag and drop fixed joystick over here. And as you can see, inside the script, player movement, I have this public variable, public joystick. Alright, so I can drag and drop the instance here and this variable. Then, if test for mobile is true, please execute this method, okay, mobile movement. And over here we have this code, which is very similar to this code over here, okay? So this code provided to us by Bricks. In fact, I just copy and paste this to here, and I just made some small modifications. So, horizontal move is equal to joystick.horizontal times run speed. So instead of having input.getAxis through horizontal, I've replaced this with joystick.horizontal and times run speed. Float vertical move equals joystick.vertical. If the vertical move is greater than 0.5, then it means jump. So if the user is dragging the joystick to here, alright, greater than 0.5, so greater than here, so somewhere from here, okay, means jump. If vertical move is smaller than 0, mela crouch equals to true, as crouch equals to false. And I'm printing this vertical move. Repeat the vertical move. I can print also the horizontal. so if I press run and I open the console,
Sì. Da huwa xi ħaġa bħal standard ta' sit jkun
il-joystick dik niżilta minn Unity Editor, jekk tittużaħħa xi proġett tiegħek u ma trid tagħmel taqbad dan il-folder tikkopja il-proġett tiegħek. U kellha fittixa fuq il-Unity Editor. Hemm uktar ta' joysticks jekk trid. Ma jinsib xejn.
Alright, thank you, sir. The virtual joystick, thank you.
Virtual joystick tech jismu. Nkella kull ma tittamel taqbad dan il-folder, copy and paste fil-presets folder tal-proġett tiegħek u jimportja normali. Ma problemi ta' xejn. Ma jekk nafas run. So wara vertical move and horizontal move are 0. If I try to modify the horizontal move, what's happening? Or the vertical move. So basically, the joystick is giving me values according to the direction of where I'm tracking, okay? So if the vertical move is greater than 0.5, then please jump. At the moment, vertical move is 0.17, so that's why it's not jumping. But if I produce a value greater than 0.5, then my character should jump. In fact, it's jumping. Why? Because it's 0.7. Alright. Okay, so that's all about the player. Are there any questions up to this point? As you can see, it's not that hard to convert again with the joystick, okay? Alright, then we have the main camera over here. We have this script, complete camera controller. This was done also by Brecky. So basically, we have this script, and the job of this script is to follow the player. So the camera automatically will follow the player to where he's moving. Okay. So as you can see, the camera is moving to where the player is. In fact, if you take a look at these positions, then over here you should see them changing, okay? This means that the camera is moving. Then we have tiles, alright? We have the background over here, the middle, and the foreground. I'm not going to explain really how you can use the tile map, but basically you can paint tiles on your tile map game object. Okay, so all you need to do is just go to 2D and use the tile palette, and you can paint here. Okay, just drag and paint here. And for those that want to know really exactly how you can paint things, there's a video also by Brecky's explaining how you can use the tile palette. And just something that I've noticed, that in 2020, in this version 2020.1.5, probably also in other versions, you need to import this package, okay? The tile palette by default is not imported inside Unity. You have to import it from the package manager and import from here, okay? In my case, it's already imported. But for those that want to try this at home, maybe they want to start a new project and create their own terrain, make sure that you download from here, okay? From the Unity registry. In my case, it's already downloaded in this project. Then we have the background, okay? Some more edits here. The canvas. And some items, okay? We have 3 items. We have cherry 2, and this gem over here. Later on we're going to make use of these items. My target is that both players can collect items from the map. For example, player 1 and player 2 can collect cherries or gems, okay? And points will be given to these players. Obviously everything in a multiplayer environment. So basically that is the base project of what we're going to work on, okay? Are there any questions, or you need some clarification about something? If you find a work in software development, and for sure you're not going to work on something from scratch, okay? For sure you're going to work on existing code, existing projects. Probably a developer was working on a project, he left the company, now you're in charge and you need to continue on his work. So that's why I've decided to work on a ready-made project. So okay, I think we can start. No questions. Mela. First of all, I'm going to save this, okay? And I'm going to open Photon. So if you remember, in one of our lectures, we've downloaded the Photon package. In my case, it's on the desktop. I think here tab 2 is here. Multiplayer Photon Cloud Unity package. So just double click. Alright, and I'm going to import the package. Are there any problems to locate the package from your end?
Ma nista' jkun online qiegħda li.
Package?
Iva.
Għantellaħ ħejlek Teams nerġa'. Għantellaħ hawnhekk ta' għalli jkollok aċċess iżjed fast.
Jekk jogħġbok sejra x'anke jien. Għandna koppja ta' fuq.
Okay, tfajt il-konfiċċer. Kemm tiddownload diha u għafsu fuqha?
Unmod boħfas il-sux sir.
Iva, double click fuq, suppost jiftaħ għadu.
Grazzi, sir, thank you.
Tuħan nizzel bil-lest il-Pararex. Għandilkom ukoll. Sorry, Pararexing. Mela. Like ukoll il-Pararexing kemm tafsu fuq u temportjaw ukoll fil-proġett. For now, I'm not going to create a clone, okay? For now, we don't really need a clone. But obviously later on, I'm going to create one. Okay, so once you've import everything, just go on Window, Photo, Unity Networking, and Pan Wizard. Alright, okay. Click on Setup Project and enter the app ID. So basically, I'm going to get my app ID. You don't really need to create a new application, okay? You can just use the same one that you used last time. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to copy this here and paste here. Setup project, and then make sure that you tick this, okay? Auto join lobby. Pan logging full and networking logging all. Obviously close this one, don't delete this. So for now, same settings like we did last time.
Fejn aċċessajt il-Pan Wizard, please?
Mela, Window, Photo, Unity Networking, Pan Wizard.
Alright, okay, thank you.
Sir, fuq il-foto, kif qed tmur biex issita il-ID?
Mela. Tillogja fil-photon. Mur tafas dashboard u għandna hawnhekk taħt public cloud għandek your applications, tiklikja fuqha.
Okay.
Mbagħad hawnhekk għandek l-app ID. Kemm tikkupjah.
Thanks, sir.
Alright.
Sir, mur nagħmlu l-app ID kemm nikklonjaw.
Kemm tikkupjah il-book. Għamel il-copy.
Imma wara nagħmlu l-app ID nikklonjaw jew le għalissa.
Mhux jekk tista' tikklonjah bil-lest, jiena issa missi nikklonjah.
Alright.
Alright, so first thing that I'm going to do is connect with the server. So I'm going to do a very similar script to what we did last time. So go inside the script folder, okay, create a new C# script, and I'm going to name this Network Manager. At the top. So this is a very similar copy of what we did last time, okay? A public GUI style, text style, GUI style, and at the start I'm going to say Photon Network dot connect using settings, and I'm going to pass the game version here. In my case I only have one version, so 0.1, and Photon Network dot log level is equal to Photon log level dot full. And now I'm going to create the rooms, etc. Okay, so very similar to what we did last time. So make sure that you write this method exactly as I'm going to write this, okay? Or else you can copy from your from the other project if you want. So void on join lobby. We can connect it to lobby and auto join to room. So over here I'm going to say Photon Network join random room. Then I'm going to say void on Photon and random join fate. So if the room does not exist, it's going to give an error, and we need to create a room ourselves. Okay, so if room does not exist, create one. Okay, so Photon Network, create room. You can pass a room name. In my case, I'm going to just pass that, okay? I don't really need the room name to be visible. And then on join room, I'm going to say print connected to room.
Answer number of players in a home.
Iva. Da ħanamel differenti, ħanajdu jekk issa. If Photon Network it is master client, jekk jiena l-master client, ħareprintja this instance is the master client. So basically, if you remember last time I mentioned the master client. So basically the master client normally is in charge of taking decisions, and usually is the first person that joins the room. using an if statement, you can know whether or not you are the master client. So if I am the master client, if this instance is the master client, then just print on the screen this instance is the master client. Later on, we're going to use this if statement to spawn objects on the screen, but for now, we're just going to print this message, and this instance is the master client. Okay, and final thing, we're going to display inside the label the status of our connection. So void on GUI, right? We can say GUI layout dot label phone network dot connection state detail to string, comma, the text style, okay, the variable that we declared above, basically the color or font size of this label. Are there any questions up to this point? Can I move on, or?
So you can move on.
One second, so I'm writing it.
Alright.
Non-GUI
Mm-hmm.
display il-connection tal-player.
Top left corner, meta nirranjaw il-logħba top left corner ħajba
player 1.
Iva.
Okay.
So I can move on then.
Alright, so everyone, is it okay for everyone?
Sir, ħarftin please jenu kol.
Alright. Since because ikunu lesti kemm iċċekkja l-start message, please. Okay, thank you, sir. Alright. Clive, there's something that's not complete.
Iva, da sir, okay.
Right, so basically I'm going to place the network manager inside my scene, okay? So I'm going to create a new empty game object, create empty. I'm going to name this game object to script, okay? So game object, create empty, name the game object script, and I'm going to add this component, okay, network manager. Okay, so if I press run, I should see joined here. It's not visible. Let me go to textile, and I'm going to increase a bit the font size. Okay, let's say 30. Okay, it's better. And over here, in my case, I have joined. Alright, are there any questions up to this point?
Yes, sir. I'm not getting the word join.
What are you seeing here instead of join? Let me tell you what you can do. Hover on these methods inside the network. Okay, good. So hover on these methods over here inside the network manager and make sure that forgot the hovering part. Make sure that these are written exactly as they are, okay? So on joined lobby, on photon random join failed, on joined room. So make sure that these three methods are written exactly
So the copy that you want to avoid.
It's stopped on connected to master.
ما فهمتكش.
It doesn't say join, it says connected to master.
Is this ticked? Inside let me go here. Photo networking. Resources. And you have this assets photon unity. So you have this photon server settings.asset. Make sure that auto join lobby is ticked. Is it ticked?
It's not fine.
Okay, and
Thing is that I said but
that you should take. That is assets photon unity networking resources.
Or will enable lobby start what?
No.
Enable lobby start.
You know it easy.
Okay.
Nathan għandek il-method on photon random join failed miktuba web. Għax u għek jiprofa jgħid, għek jgħid jiprofa jgħidu.
Ewa sara unek jiet. On photon random join failed. Photon network.create room null.
Jina koval join, għeddi mux join fil-method name. Dak li ben.
Nejti nara li ktibta eżattek ta' on photon random join failed. not select the hosting type in your Photon server settings.
Best region serdu nagħmlu bħala hosting.
Jena EU għeda by default.
Għax għandi l-ewwel kienet not set, imma Photon Cloud self-hosted offline mode like best region.
Hosting Photon Cloud jenti.
Photon Cloud, għax qed jgħidli għal FID. Jew m'għandix bżonna.
Mela, għati tiġibu l-FID.
Badi għax nsejt nagħmilha fuq il-Photon għalhekk ma naf.
Ejja, mela mmur window, Photon Networking, pan wizard u daħħallu l-FID.
Imma rridu nagħmluha fuq il-website stess qabel.
Ejja, ġib l-FID mill-website, jew kellha proġett ieħor.
Alright.
Issa użaw l-istess FID, aħna ma rrid nirran jew l-istess logħba fl-istess, żewġ logħbiet fl-istess ħin.
Okay.
Seru normali li waqt li print jirrani l-konsoli ma jiprintja 0.
Dak qed jipprintja 0. Għamel dan il-klik fuq u kommentjan il-code. Dak għax il-bicċera fil-player controller qed jipprintja 0 u l-livellu tal-joystick dawk. Player movement, sorry, l-script jismu. Fil-player movement għandhom daw. Ikkommentjawhom. Għalhekk qed jipprintja lek inkollu 0 jipprintja l-ferdu tal-joystick. Dejt l-internet xielek.
Ejwa ser jien ġust għandi text mhux qed jidher.
Il-text mhux qed jidher on GUI miktuba tajba. Tikkita eżatta kollek dik hija override method tal-Unity. Ġifieri O kbira u GUI kbira. U kbar.
Ma kinux caps.
Se. Jiena internet dialog ma tix tikteb how to their joint, tix jikun effect master ħażin, jew
ħażin. Mela mur assets Photon Unity Networking, Resources, klikja fuq dan l-asset, għawek, u għawek għara għandek di auto join lobby t-tikjata.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Alright. Dik tinsewix ta' auto join lobby għax it-trikom it-trabi li ma t-xaluwix. Kellu t-tamlu bil-kod li t-ġoni għu lobby.
I think it's to Photon Network dot auto join lobby equals true in Network Manager.
I don't know by heart. Ħanara. I always take that with the result.
My case it works.
Okay. Alright.
Celia is to join random.fail.
Jibda tajba.
Kont kopjajta mill-ħar darba għalek.
X'għallek?
on join Hansley. Nħu screenshot tagħha. Join random field. No game open.
Nuttuba żgur tajba dikom photon random join fejn għax wieħed jgħidlek ara calling on photon random join fejn ma ġara xi iżjed.
Ma tem photon. Kopjajt tal-aħħar darba ser mbagħad. Dak il-ħaġa.
Issa nara.
Anzi, nieħu screenshot tal-code ma ngħid.
Connected to room m'intix taraħħa fil-log. Di m'intix taraħħa connected to room fil-log fil-console. Rajta connected to log.
Checkja. Ħafna zeros għalek.
Disable jgħajek dak. Zero, sa meta dik fejn comment jgħal-code.
Għana ġeneran jaħseb. Connected current status connection to name server. Connected to name server. But encryption established current state connected to name server. Għani u screenshot taħħa t
Ġifim intix n-taraħħa dik. Connected to room.
Le, connected to room le. Le, connected to name server għandi ma. Mux room.
Tista' ttieni aċċess għall-iskrin tiegħek.
Għaw se. Għana nagħtihulek sekonda.
Alright. Għana, tista' niklikja jew la?
Post eżaw. Jitaw seħan tibet unity.
Xanka għaw zewġ network.
Dik ta' qabel se. Tal-ġimgħa l-oħra. Ikkupjajt. U se dir unity jew. Connected to room tibda ġi. Issa.
Għasibek, taħdim, jenna għak, xanka kittik. Kew għada għal-mouse, għaddi fil il-mouse. Ilek di għalissa, għandek zonna. Jibkoma mux nassa. Taħdem mela.
Barra.
Ġast il-text ma kienx qed jidillek għax ma kontx qed tagħti parti text tajb bħala
Istenna xi ħaġa, ngħid xi ġimgħa l-oħra. Għax mit-tlax. Okay. That's okay. Thank you, sir.
Eżja problemi. Mela. L-idea hija ħanamlu Mela, at the moment I have the player, okay? So in the thing I have this object called player. Now somehow I need to assign this player to Photon, okay? So this game object must be created by Photon, okay? Must be instantiated by Photon MIC. So the idea is something like this. So we have the Photon server. We have instance 1. Instance 2, at the moment I don't have this. Instance 2. And later on this will be clone 0, okay? And this is the original instance. Well, ħanamlu on joint room ngħid il-photon server, I'm going to tell photon server. Create an instance. Create an instance of the game object there. So from the later on the player instance, this one over here, is going to be a prefab, okay? So later on I'm going to convert this to prefab. The player game object is going to be converted to prefab later on. So we're going to tell photon server create an instance of player on all those players that are connected to this room. So in this case, our player, okay, so this represents the player, okay. So our player is going to be visible on instance 1, okay, let's put this here. So basically on joined room, we're telling the photon server create a copy of our prefab player and place it on all instances that are running the game. In this case, we only have player 1, okay, so player 1 is going to be visible on instance 1. Then when instance 2 joins in the room, okay, is going to notify the photon server that a new player that I just joined the room, okay, and the photon server automatically is going to create an instance of player here, for instance 2, but it's also going to inform instance 1 with player 2 and instance 2 also with player 1. So basically, when we're joining rooms, automatically the photon server is notifying other instances to automatically create players according to the number of users playing inside the room. Can I get this?
What can I do? You heard the proclamation.
So now we must player para prefab mbagħad iva bħala għamiltu qudiem ħagħmlu prefab. Okay. For some reason I can't edit this selector. I don't think that I can. Let me check that here.
Hi friends.
Okay, so basically,
Boris.
let's get text.
My grandfather passed away last
So this is player prefab. It's representing player 1. We're going to have another prefab here, which is also representing player 1, and we have another prefab here, which represents player 2, and over here we have another prefab representing player 2, okay? But this player is controlled by instance 1 in this case, and player 2 in this case is controlled by instance 2. Okay? So if we move the joystick or press any keys on the keyboard, player 2 should move, and over here if we click on the joystick, we should move player 1. Now, when, let's say, over here, in instance 1, we are moving player 1. So basically, we're going to notify the Photon server later on to move, to tell instance 2 to move the game object labeled as player 1, okay, the prefab player 1. And vice versa. If instance 2 is moving player 2, we're going to notify Photon server to inform instance 1 to move the prefab of player 2. And with this technique, we're creating a multiplayer environment. So basically, in instance 1, we're going to have 2 instances of the same prefab. But one is going to be controlled by instance 1, and the other prefab is going to be controlled by the Photon server, which obviously is receiving messages from instance 2, okay, from the movements done on this player over here, on player 2. So in this case, in instance 1, player 2 is just a dummy, okay? In fact, later on, from player 2, we're going to remove the rigid body, we're going to remove the script that is controlling the player, okay? Remove any colliders that are attached to this player. Why? Because this instance, this prefab, is controlled by the Photon server, okay? And controlled by the Photon server, I mean controlled by instance 2. So any movement done on this prefab, on player 2 prefab, automatically is reflected on this prefab over here. So basically, let's say that instance 2 moved his prefab, his player basically, to position 10,10,0, okay? So basically we're going to inform Photon server to move this prefab to 10,10,0. So this is just a sprite being moved. Imagine it like that, okay? It's just like a prefab being moved around the screen. That is all. It doesn't have any logic behind it. It doesn't have any thinking to move, okay? In the sense, mantish character controller to check physics, colliders, etc. It's just moving around the scene. That's the job of that instance. Obviously later on you're going to understand this more, okay? But at the moment, do you have any questions on what I just said? I know that is a bit difficult to comprehend at the moment.
Le. Jiswa il-multiplayer player għajkun sprite based. Mux se kollu l-expression. Fuq il-ieħor. U għet namlu kif għamilna l-axħar darba ma bil-rantaj, mux bil-buttuna.
Iva.
Dajjem. ċempli.
Now, so first of all, we need to convert this to prefab. But first of all, basically it's a requirement by Photon, okay? So any prefabs that you want to be synced via Photon automatically, any prefabs that you want them to be synced automatically via Photon, you need to place them inside a folder called the resources folder. So go inside the assets folder and create this folder, resources folder.
I am the boss. Resources.
And basically, the resources folder must be written exactly as I wrote it. This is a standard also in Unity, so if you type on Google Unity resources folder, of that prefab automatically. using this code, resources.load. This means from the folder resources, load this prefab called class. And as a requirement of Photon, this is specified in their documentation. You have to create a folder. Resources, and then I'm going to create the prefab. Okay, so I'm going to just drag and drop the player to here. Okay, inside the resources folder, and automatically a prefab is created. In fact, on the player.prefab here. So make sure that you create this folder exactly as I wrote it. Okay, resources, and just drag and drop the player to here to create a prefab. And I can safely delete the player from the hierarchy. Okay, so right click, delete, and now using code I'm going to instantiate the and it is asking for a prefab name. What is the name of the prefab that we need to create? Player. In this case we can say player. Correct, yes, player. Comma, the position, in this case I'm going to say vector3.up, the rotation, for identity, these are just default values, okay, comma 0. So automatically this prefab is going to be instantiated in our scene, and it is created by Photon. So when a player, this means that when a player logs in our room, automatically it notifies Photon, ISMA, create a new instance of this player. So basically, let's say player 1 is already inside the room with his player, and player 2 joins 5 seconds later inside the same room. So player 1 must see player 2. So this code over here automatically instantiates a prefab for player 2 inside the scene of player 1. Okay. So basically, eventually we're going to have 2 players in 2 instances, in the original and in the clone. So just to test this, I'm going to go inside Unity, alright, and I'm going to press the run.
Is this TPD
The mana.
مش راجع network manager.
Yes, this is normal. So basically, the variable player of complete camera controller has not been assigned. So I double click on the error. Basically it's triggering an error in this line, and the problem is this player, which is public game object player, is null. So basically on the main camera here we have the complete camera controller, and basically before we did this code, before we deleted the player from the hierarchy, there was the player attached here. Okay, so this means this script, this camera should follow this player that is dragged here. Obviously, since we've deleted this from the hierarchy, okay, and we're creating this using code here, somehow this instance created here needs to be assigned to this variable here. Okay, so that the camera can move with the player. Okay, so that's why we have this error here. But obviously I'm going to solve this in the next lecture. So at the moment, just stop your game, make sure that this is hitting correctly. Alright, and we'll continue on our next lecture. Mela ħan għamil waħda l-attendance.
Thank you, sir.
Mela Aiden Harrington. Mela Aiden Nelson. Ayrton Mark.
Present.
Benjamin Brinkat.
Present.
Chetli Mercia.
Present.
Vincent Neborg.
Present.
Christian Antobardi.
Present, sir.
Christian Fudge. Clyde McGreen.
Present.
Darren Buttigieg.
Present.
David Kakija. Okay. Gail Farrugia.
Present.
Ian Mark.
Present.
Jeremy Paul.
Present.
Jeremy Fenech.
Present.
Joel Healy.
Present.
Joseph Julian. What do you call it? Julian Kaleja. Julian out yet? Absent.
Amma warqina. Warqom.
Present, sir.
Ita u jek ħakir jemmifsu.
Present.
Kerta Tsopardi. Liam Laws.
Present.
Nathan.
Present.
Nathaniel Buġeja.
Present.
Nathan Fenech. Għajak dak.
He was present.
Alright, Paula Thornton.
Present.
Surjan. Okay, present. U Travis.
Present.
So absent Julian Kaleja u Aiden Harrington. Okay. Alright, thank you.
Grazie, sir. Grazie a te, sir.
Ciao, see you.
Bye bye.